Well, there's certainly no more appropriate way to begin a fantastic mission about rushing to save the world than with a dry utilitarian cinematic of Arcantos mostly just staring blankly into space.
How long ago did the army of Gargarensis pass through here?
Not long, a few days perhaps. They went to the mountains to the north and started building walls and fortresses.
Then that is the entrance to the underworld. He has already reached the gate.
If he opens that gate, your Ragnarok will happen.
We must stop him.
I guess that cinematic gets the job done, but not as well as I'm about to. Number 1, all Huskarls head northeast where there's building and fighting to do. Except one should build an armory. Number 2, all cavalrymen go northwest to raid another enemy outpost. I'll need lots of food fast, ox carts and villagers to grow the economy. And I want all the basic economic upgrades, especially hunting dogs. I finally get to play as Odin, so I can use his great hunt god power to double that herd of deer. I'll actually want to send exactly 4 villagers and 1 ox cart east to go mine gold. Odin's Huskarls are super powerful too, so don't let throwing axemen get one. I'll send my heroes west to fight on the third front, or a wave is coming right now. Yep, here's the gold, and I'll turn on villager auto train so I have one less thing to think about. On front number 2, the cavalry take down this tower. I'll run the injured one back so he doesn't get killed off. Need to conserve human soldiers as best I can. On front 3, the heroes have crushed the first wave. I'll construct a pair of barracks to train throwing axemen soon. And the Huskarls need to make me a double layer of walls for reasons that you'll probably see later on. Maybe not. I'll torch these trees to take down the enemy barracks a little bit faster with that usually worthless god power. And now I'll build that second layer of walls. The raid is finished, so my cavalry need to get out of there and hide behind my heroes who will tank and heal them. And there's not much time because the second enemy wave is coming soon. One of the reasons I love this mission so much is that the enemy actually attacks you pretty hard and fast quite early on. Now that I'm aging up, I'll need a ton more gold very soon, so I'll retask some people from food to gold and also get the shaft mine upgrade to improve my gather rates. Any second now. There they are. Another great thing is that, as you can see, the enemy uses balanced armies on this mission, so you can't just crush them with myth units. Alright, I made that wall of gates so my Huskarls can get back to town and help out. I'm going to train a ton of dwarves as soon as I age up to massively boost my gold income. I'll need tons of that. Then I'll switch back to gatherers for wood. I'll also retask some gatherers away from food. The third wave will be here there it is, okay. Now luckily, this third wave is scripted not to actually attack until they reach your town center area, so you can get a lot of free hits on them along the way. I better get my Huskarls back here reorganized. Your troops love to get distracted by their raiding cavalry scouts that just run by harmlessly. Don't let that happen. I thought about getting the wood upgrade, but I think my money would be better spent on the infantry ones instead. The lumber upgrades to be valuable, I would have to have more people gathering lumber. Fort for battering rams like Ajax said. As you can see, I've already killed many of this third wave. Once they get to my town center, they will turn and fight. I mostly just want to avoid having any human soldiers get killed. Alright, time to start training throwing axemen. They'll be my bread and butter unit for most of this mission. Mass range is usually the best way to win big battles, and the enemy likes to train a lot of weak infantry too. Pull the humans back to let the heroes do the tanking as usual. Einherjar are so easy to beat because they're just so slow. I'll retask the infantry onto working on that hill fort so they can finish that up. 0 casualties so far, as you can see. That's a very good start. I have enough income now to use both barracks for throwing axemen. But I really do need to make sure I get enough gold to build battering rams quite soon. My throwing axemen will determine whether I win, and my battering rams will determine how fast. I'll auto-train them so I have plenty later on. I need a huge income of both lumber and gold to support auto-training all of these troop types, so I'll keep training villagers too. Since I'm now finished building, I'll put my Huskarls and cavalry all in one control group. They basically serve the same function as being my melee fighters at this point. Throwing axemen group 3 so I can easily focus fire them. Here's wave number 4. I'll pull back the humans again to make sure I take no casualties just yet. Want to save that for the big battles. Meanwhile, I'm slowly growing my army, which is very important because the enemy has not only high troop producing capabilities, but massive standing forces. Heavy defenses too, so it makes for a big, fun siege on his base. They really gave both sides all the fun toys we could hope for here. Alright, I'll get more gatherers for wood. These guys are just about done with that herd. I'll task one more onto wood. At this point I have almost all the upgrades I need, so I mostly just spend my remaining food on more villagers, for which you don't need a big income. Alright, Regenleaf has got just about everybody most of the way healed up. It's about time to advance on the enemy base. First off, the portable realms will raid their side entrance where they have some troop-producing structures, and everybody else will advance to hold the main gate and make sure nothing else comes out. I won't bother with the last 10 or so food from that remaining deer. I'll just send these guys to find another herd so I don't have to do that later on mid-battle. I would kind of like the portable rams upgrade to make my battering rams faster, but I can't really afford it. Oh, by the way, Odin's battering rams are also extra tough, 20% more hit points. Alright, so this side gate of theirs has a fortress behind it, which they'll use to train Jarls and things like that, which I don't want to deal with. Or sometimes they train their own battering rams instead. They won't reach your base, of course, but they're extremely tough, which makes them a nuisance because they tank for the enemy army. Oh, Amandra just jumped over the gate. There she goes. She is so good at getting killed again and again. Really the worst hero on the team. Notice, by the way, that I have all my troop-producing structures grouped to group 9, so I can change their rally point along the way. I'll have to do that a lot of times because it's a big, long fight through their base. I brought a few throwing axemen to take down the few defenders. Uh-oh. 5th wave coming. Okay. I better fix up my formation fast. Meanwhile, I better have this squad of throwing axemen take down the enemy guards so my own battering rams can work in peace. Ooh, I lost one raiding cavalry. Oh well, one casualty is not so bad. Raiding cavalry kind of suck at straight battles anyway. There we go. Okay, throwing axemen out, battering rams out, time to regroup at the main gate. Obviously there's no point in killing that tower back there because it's no threat to your battering rams and it doesn't produce anything anyway, so I might as well leave it. So, the enemy didn't actually do the thing that usually requires me to have 2 layers of walls. But basically, for the first and last time in the campaign, they worship Heimdall, who grants us god power Undermine that can instantly destroy any wall. Luckily, its area of effect is very small, so he'll instant kill one of your walls and then just look at the other one and helplessly walk away. That way you force him to fight you only on this one front where your whole army is waiting for him. Alright, everybody except for a few human soldiers should be healed up, so it's time to take down that wall. So, this is where the mission gets difficult, because the enemy has massive standing forces in there, which will send at you all at once at some point halfway through his base. You need to be ready for that and not lose your momentum. If you lose your momentum, his massive tide of constantly trained troops will bog you down even further. Alright, Amandra is reviving. I'm going to manually have Regenleaf heal her so she doesn't get herself killed again and again and again. It's easy to lose track of heroes who've been killed once, because they get taken out of your control group and then tend to kind of wander around and get themselves killed again once they revive with a few hit points. As you can see, throwing axemen are effective against almost all their unit types. Sneak the battering rams along here to take out their next fortress, which will be quite well guarded. Oh, a bunch of Huskarls this time. Usually it's Jarls. So I'll run the battering rams back, dragging the enemy along with me, and then my throwing axemen will take them down. Battering rams will be acting as semi-tanks. The enemy loves to target them, but they won't be able to get good hits on them because they'll keep running them around. Just another way of conserving much-needed human soldiers for the real fight coming up anytime now. Okay, I can retask. You can see a longhouse in there. It's actually one of 3 they have clustered together that will train huge numbers of troops, so you've got to take those all out quickly. The question is how to do so. So, I'll keep my throwing axemen all working efficiently here, try to have them focus fired on infantry in particular. My heroes will take down the Einherjar as usual, and the enemy has interestingly balanced armies. Okay, I'll freeze them right now. Freeze is just one of the best god powers in the whole game. That's the point where if you're not careful you will just be wiped out and lose your momentum. Before they unfreeze, I need to break down this wall, tear down all 3 of those barracks, and then I can defeat their standing army and win the mission. If I don't take down all those long houses, then they'll just continuously train troops during that battle, faster than I can, so I'll end up deadlocked here for like 10 minutes before I finally break through. I've got enough gatherers, so I'll stop training them for now because I'm near my food cap. You can see I'm still kind of short on wood even with 23 guys gathering it. Oh, notice by the way, the new guys they train are not frozen, so they can injure your battering rams. I could try to push in there and kill those guys as they spawn, but I think that would break my formation too badly when the guys do unfreeze. I will bring my throwing axemen midway in so they're all able to fire immediately and won't waste their time running around. I will lose a few battering rams, but I trained so many for a reason. 2 out of 3 barracks down. And you can see now, I'm sure, why I got both those infantry upgrades so fast. The Norse don't really have a good throwing axeman counter except for more throwing axemen, so I made sure mine were better. Alright, barracks down, I'll run these portable rams back because I will need them later on. Meanwhile, my throwing axemen take down the remaining infantry. Alright, now for the 3rd phase of this mission. Their troop production has been broken, but they have a town center which they'll use to train Ulfsargs who will build new longhouses and start the whole thing over. Yes, they do actually rebuild in this mission, so I can't let them do that. As a side note, they actually have another town center in that southwestern fogged area, which you can take out very early on if you're smart and use the forest fire power. But it's not really worth it because they never really train much there, and you don't need it yourself. As you can see, they're training those Ulfsarks I warned about from their town center. Better take it down fast. Great. Okay, that armory is unimportant, but I'll kill it just so it doesn't distract my troops later on. They do have a few temples left, so they will slowly train myth units, but not a big threat. I'm going to shift partially from Throwing Axeman to Hersir for this next phase, but I'll get one more armory upgrade too. I rarely get this, but when your army is this big, they're quite valuable. I better ram down those towers. It's pretty much Towers 9 Harryar for a bit here.
I have followed you here, Gargarensis. You will not stop me.
Odin the All-Father will guide our spears. Prepare to siege.
She's right. Odin is an amazingly good god in this game. Alright, when the gate goes down, a whole bunch of fire giants will spawn. And when the fire giants die, that's when I win. But that's easier said than done, because fire giants are extremely dangerous enemies. So I better have a strong army and my heroes ready to tank for them. Hersir may help a little, but not much more time left. Here come the fire giants. I'd better focus fire. Fire giants can massacre your heroes if you take too long. I'll have the Throwing Axeman close in too. Needs all the firepower I can get. The Einherjar aren't terribly important, they're just a distraction at this point. There's the Hersir. Hersir are really too slow to help you very much on this mission. Too far to go. You can see they have an Ulfsark running around, so he's probably rebuilt them barracks somewhere. If there's even one that survives, they can build back up. I ordered all the Throwing Axemen in closer because the front line had been blocking the rear ones from participating. Very common problem with archers and RTSs, don't let it happen to you. You can see that just 1 or 2 fire giant specials took out like 20 Throwing Axemen. If the heroes weren't distracting most of them, they would have just massacred my whole army. This is another case actually, where Throwing Axemen are better than archers would have been, because fire giants are almost impervious to pierce attacks and take twice as much from hack ones. Well, one of my favorite missions in the game is now in the bag. There we go. I really love that mission. There's an intense, ongoing battle throughout the entire thing, there's no nuisances to it to take away from the fun, and this upcoming cinematic has a lot of character to it too, unlike the first one.
Do not let the appearance fool you. The well will take us to Niflheim.
You go first, Chiron. If you fall screaming to your death, we'll just stay here.
When you decide which of you will go first, I'll be waiting at the bottom.
Classic Amonra. Great character, terrible unit. I like the detail in that wagon there. Totally unimportant, you'll never see it up close again, but they took the time to make it look good. Well, that's the mission. Have a great day, everyone.